Welcome back. We are talking to the candidates running for the state's 30th Assembly District. And we'd like to now talk a little bit about water. Experts say that a water crisis is looming. We're experiencing another drought year, and agriculture, not surprisingly, which uses 80% of the state's water supply, has been particularly hard hit. This year, for example, Fresno County agriculture suffered the largest losses in the state at $74 million, followed closely by Kern County at $70 million. The debate in the state capitol seems to be about whether or not to have dams and who should pay for that. It appears that the two of you agree that new dams need to be built, but I'd like to know how and who should pay for those new dams. Ms. Flores.
Well, first of all, I think what we have to do is we have to stop forgetting about this little fish called the Delta smelt. You know, that has gotten in the way of trying to get water to our farmers, to our residents. So no doubt that we do need a water bond. We need a water bond that will give us storage above, below ground. We need the dams in, and we also need conveyance. But I think one of the things that everybody's talking about how we're going to pay this. Well, with a water bond, that's a possibility, and I support that. I think Senator Feinstein has one out there that we're looking at, and I support a water bond that is paid for by all our water users, and that's everybody.
Okay, Mr. Gilmore.
We truly are in a crisis here, and I would support on the west side where they're plowing under crops at this time. I would support the peripheral canal. On the east side of the district, Temperance Flat is definitely a dam that needs to be built and should have been built a number of years ago. We wouldn't be in the situation that we are now. Down in Kern, they're doing a very good job of groundwater storage. All three of these are great components, and as I've gone out into the district and talked to the farmers, the west side, they're willing to pay for this. This is something that is going to devastate our economy. The San Joaquin Valley here not only feeds the state, feeds the nation, and feeds a great part of the world. Water is our lifeblood, and we must correct this problem now.
Okay. Mr. Hurley, you've got the next question.
For the candidates, as legislators, what we do to protect the interests of water users who are going to lose water because of the San Joaquin River settlement between the Bryant Water Users Authority and the Bureau of Reclamation. Mr. Gilmore?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
What would you do to protect the interests of water users who will lose water because of the San Joaquin River settlement?
Again, I go back to say that the agriculture is the backbone of our economy here, and we need to do everything that we can to protect our agriculture here and the users of the water, particularly the farmers. And we need to do everything that we can to protect the delivery of the water and to ensure that the farmers have what they need to grow the crops.
Ms. Flores, what would you do as a legislator to protect the interests of those water users?
As a legislator, I think that I would be very open to introducing some type of legislation that would secure, water for the valley. Whether, how we do it, I think it's going to have to take a consortium of people to come together. That's farmers, that's, cities, business owners. We're going to have to find a way to make sure that we have legislation that's out there that's going to protect, and it's not going to be overturned by a court decision. We need to protect the water that we have now. We can do it putting through some legislation. We'll do something to that effect.
Mr. Geluso, you've got the next question.
A recent report said farmers could save millions of acre-feet of water through conservation measures. Mrs. Flores, should farmers be held responsible to cut consumption before the state spends money to increase their water supply?
I think what we do, and there's, that's gone back and forth, and, the farmers are doing everything that they can do, but, making farmers change the type of crop that they grow because you can conserve water that way, there's not a lot of choices there. It's not an easy thing to do. I've worked with farmers when I was in banking. I made farm loans, and I know what it takes to, bring in a crop, and I know about the expenses, and I know about the margins that the bankers want to see. So I think what we have to do is we have to be able to find a way to help everyone with the water problem, and if that means, putting out a bill, working with the farmer, whatever we need to do, we have to protect their interests.
Mr. Gilmore.
I can tell you on the west side, the farmers are using state-of-the-art irrigation systems, drip systems. the farmers that are using this water, this is their livelihood. They have looked for every way that there is to conserve, and I think they've done an excellent job of that. This is not only a farming issue. This is a business issue, and all of us that turn on a water tap. We as citizens and businesses, we need to look at better ways of conserving. I can tell you the agriculture community, because it is their livelihood, they're looking at every way to squeeze every drop of water in order to produce crops for this valley and provide for the economy.
Thank you. Ms. Kaczmarek, you've got the next question.
Yes, Mr. Gilmore, this is for you first. We all know that there are many issues for those of us who live in the Central Valley. In terms of water storage, how does that rank in importance to you along with the other objectives?
It is the #1 issue as far as I'm concerned for the valley, because our economy is in the valley, and for the state of California depends so much on agriculture. Mm-hmm. It is our life's blood. As I've traveled on the west side of this district, there are farmers that have been farming 20 to 25 years that are having to let people go. That's extremely painful for them. Mm-hmm. And it is affecting our economy now, and and if we do not get this situation, this crisis, if you will, address it yesterday, it is going to have a devastating impact on the state of California as well as our nation's economy. It's a paramount, this needs to be fixed now.
Okay. Ms. Flores.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure.
Sorry.
We all know that there are many issues for those of us living in the Central Valley. How does the issue of water storage rank in importance along with your other objectives?
Well, as Mr. Gilmore pointed out, it is a top priority for us that live here in the Central Valley, and water storage as well as conveyance and all of those other things that we have to have so that we have a water supply, so that we can continue with farming and we can grow our cities. So it's a top priority for me as well. And I think it's just a matter of finding solutions. How do we get there? Do we do it with a water bond? Do we do it with conservation? Are we asking our farmers to switch systems, which are very expensive for them? But if we're going to do that, then we need to offer some type of incentive so that when they have to switch system or switch crops, there's some help out there for them for that.
Well, thank you very much. When we come back, we'll discuss what each candidate proposes to do to clean our air. That's some of the dirtiest air in the nation. That conversation when we return. This is a Maddie Institute Election Special.